week, each victory, this is our monument. Nobody's going to take them away. We're going to stack these up. And we started stacking them. And we played some tough games. None tougher than number 10. We went down to play down in Clewiston. We were down 21-7 at halftime. These farm boys were all jacked up on steroids. They had nothing to do but herd cows and chase rabbits. And they were waiting for us. They weren't going to the playoffs. They heard about us. We ended up winning. Ardell Daniels caught a pass for right at the end. We were able to win. 10-0. From 1-29 to 10-0. That was a marker. Well, now the playoffs begun. We started stacking them up. You've been to Venice Stadium. It's built for about 5,000 people. The first playoff game, 7,000 people showed up. We played a team Northeast. They weren't any good. My brother about started a riot. We won't go into that. But anyhow, we beat the dog snot out of this team. Well, the next week, enrolled the Lakeland Dreadnoughts. Lakeland Dreadnoughts, defending national champions, had not been scored on in the first half all year. The Dreadnoughts rolled into town. Now, I was never prouder of my little brother that he arrested their ship when they had this ship. It's a dreadnought. That's what the ship is. And they carried on a trailer. They tried to bring it into Venice. They told me, bring that over the bridge, you're going to jail. Wouldn't let them bring it into Venice. I was very happy with that. Didn't stop. They brought 5,000 obnoxious fans. They said there was approximately 10,000 people at the field that day. We ended up winning that game. It was a tough football game. They got a shock. They decided to punt to Trey Smith. Automatically, they were scored on. Then they were so stupid, they did it again. But it was a physical battle. Another rock on the pile. Another rock on the pile. Another moment. Well, then, the next week, in come the Manatee Hurricanes. Joe Canan had been saved from cancer, so he was walking on water. And they were sure they were going back to national prominence. And these guys were huge. They were huge. If it had been a dog show and you were just looking at pictures of the two teams, you'd have definitely bet on Manatee. Their offensive line averaged over 300 pounds. We ended up winning that game. They gave up counting at 14,000 people. There were people everywhere. Everywhere. Well, now we got to go to Pompano. We had a super tough game down there. Pompano Beach, Ely. 3 of those guys were on the NFL teams at this point. They were unbelievable. It was in a neighborhood quite a bit different than Venice. Way different than Venice. But what was so cool was we got on the buses to leave. And as we're going out of town, the bus driver goes, we've been asked to do a tour. We drive by the elementary school. All the little kids are outside with signs. Go Indians. I mean, I might cry when I say, we go by the nursing home. All the old people have been rolled out on the street. They might not know they're there, but they had signs too. Go Indians. The fire department had ladder trucks up. Go Indians. We start driving down 75. About every 50 miles, there's cars pulled over. Go Indians. I mean, the kids, I'm saying, guys, you do see what's happening here. We cannot lose this game. We filled 11 buses of fans. We had more people at this game. They had 22 motorcycle cops get us out of there. It was a different neighborhood than Venice. When we're rolling in, we see this lady waving at us. And the kids go, oh, that lady's waving at us. She had a brick in her hand. She's like waving this brick. And I'm like, okay, this is going to be a tough game. It was a battle. Ardell Daniels, who we lost a few years, won that game for us with some terrific runs. It was an unbelievable victory. Well, now we're going to the state championship game. We're playing in Florida Field. That's the only thing wrong with this story. We had to go to the very gates of hell to win this state championship game. The swamp. We were the home team. They put us in the Gator locker room. When we go in there, we're in the locker room. Not a word to be heard for this game. I reminded them, we've stacked up a lot of stones. We got one left. I walk down the field before the team. I always go out. I look up in the stands. The whole middle section's filled. 8,500, 10,000 people from Venice had come to the game. The crowd erupts. I mean, there were so many people you could hear the screaming in the swamp that holds, 8,000 people. I mean, it just gave you chills. The two teams were standing there in the tunnel. We're in our locker room. This team was 14-point favorites in this game. Their quarterback was going to Georgia Tech. Nobody ever even heard of Venice. They're like, you're ours. They're like mouthing. Our guys are just, yeah, we're yours. We'll see you in 5 minutes. Halftime, 49-7. The end of the game, 77-14. And you'd probably think, they played the starters the whole way. No, we played everybody but the cheerleaders. Interesting fact. Colt McKay, starting wide receiver, played every game, started every game, caught one pass that season. We didn't pass the ball very much. Caught it at the state championship game. I mean, it was just everything that could go right in a football game went right. We have 11 state records to this day. You can look it up on the FHA website. So somebody wants this ring, they're going to have to take it off a bloody stumped hand. And my other hand's going to be full of something before they get it. That's a marker, okay? That's a marker. I tell you that story because we had to go through a lot of perils that way. But we remembered, and this is a memory. And I had taken it off. I used to wear it every day, and I just got worried that I was going to nick it up. And plus, gold went up a lot. And it's worth a lot of money now, and I have a bad habit of losing things. So my wife said maybe it'd be a good idea not to wear it every day. But it's one of the markers. I want you to think in your life, and if you haven't done it so far, what are the markers in your life? Number one, think back to that day when Jesus changed your life. When you went from lost and hopeless and scared to saved and redeemed. Because it's easy to lose that. It's easy to lose that if we don't remember. Jan and I never actually built rocks, but we have a lot of them. We've got this. I've got my wedding ring, which I got a real dinky one that I can never take off because I was afraid I'd lose that too. I got this ring my company gave me. They give you a diamond every year that you reach a certain level. And this year I'm having a real bad year. The economy's not so good. But I can look down and I say, you know what? 11 other times I did that. I can do it again. I can look at the birth of my son. He was born the night of the no-name storm. Any of you remember that storm? I slept through it. I've been over to the neighbors celebrating the fact I had a kid. Woke up in the morning, trees were down, boats were floated up on the road. I'm like, what the heck happened here? I can remember the night my daughter was born, also in a storm. Might be something to this, I'm not sure. But I can point to times in my life and I see where God carried us through. We went through a horrible time. We used to be in the gym business. Lost everything. Got involved with a crook. Lost everything. Went from Gold American Express car and lease cars to bankrupt overnight. I went from working in gyms from the time I was 15 years old to now I was a financial planner the day after I went bankrupt. Driving a 78 Pinto with no air conditioning and a suit on. It was kind of hard. Wasn't selling pots door to door, but it was, I'm saying, okay, I've spent my whole life getting fat people to pay me to get skinny, to eat less and work out. I can certainly talk people into buying money, But that was a marker. We saw. We just celebrated a little while ago our 31st wedding anniversary. 32nd. TJ turned 31. I'm sorry. 32nd. No, TJ just turned 31 and it freaked me out. I was like, oh my God. I must be 40. But there's markers. And right now, I'm here to tell you, I think we're going to see harder times before we see better times. But it's going to take the people in this room to do what you did for me. To be Jesus people. To share those markers in your life. When somebody's down, because the thing that's amazing is I can point to the things that were the absolute hardest, the worst, terrible things. And then God used that, which was terrible, turned out to be the best thing. Because it wouldn't have blasted us out. I know people, they got pregnant. No, this is going to be horrible. What a blessing God gave them. Because the timing's always right. The courage people have shown in their last days that brought others to the Lord. I'll end with one more story. When I was in the gym business, we had a guy that came to our gym. His name was Ross Manning. Now, have you ever heard the song Cowboy Bill by Garth Brooks? My special music was going to play that this morning, but he's not here. So just remember that and we'll get him to play it one other time. Garth Brooks wrote this song, and first time I heard it, I just started bawling because I thought of my friend, Ross Manning. Ross Manning we had bodybuilders and powerlifters, and we had Miss Teenage USA, Mr. Florida, Miss Florida. We had powerlifting champions. We had a lot of people that came on. Ross had been a horse trainer and decided to get into training bodybuilders when his daughter started lifting. And he just used the same techniques and, it worked out good. But when Ross would be at the gym, he would tell us stories. He said, yeah, I was a stuntman for John Wayne. I did the first cable shot. You ever see the guys get shot off the horse and it looks like they fly way back? Well, they hook a spring and a cable on them, jerks them off the horse. He goes, I did that in a John Wayne movie. Oh, yeah, Ross, in a John Wayne movie. He goes, I was a Marlboro Man. Oh, yeah, you were the Marlboro Man. I was a world champion bull rider. Yeah. I was in the Korean War at the Chosun Reservoir and got a Bronze Star. Yeah, Ross. He piled up a lot of memories. One memory Ross didn't have was Jesus. Well, interesting thing. Ross dipped. He quit smoking, but he started dipping. And I don't know which one of these caused throat cancer. He used to eat a can, like a restaurant can of jalapeno peppers at night. I never seen anything like it. Just chew them like they were pickles. And